Hello everyone! Welcome back to Nukeshot Media here on YouTube. We're coming to you live from the Nürburgring on the 24-hour layout for round 5 of the ARS Touring Car Championship Season 2. Very overcast skies, as you can see from one of our onboard cameras here on Wangang Ghost, making their way down towards the Dottingerhout Strait. I of course am your commentator here today, NS Zokeo 9. Joined in the booth here today with a beverage, unlike last time, so on the way up. Got some orange and pineapple juice here today with me in the booth. Again, unfortunately no Mika. It's always better when he's here, I'm well aware of that, so sorry about that one, but of course real life becoming more important is obviously a fact to take into account, as it should be. Got a decent grid here, currently 7 cars on circuit. We're of course on board with Wangang Ghost at the minute, making their way towards the start-finish line to complete an outlap. It's the full Nürburgring 24-hour layout, as I mentioned earlier, so around 15 miles or so. Get what that is in kilometers. Is it 25.378? I could be completely wrong on that. So here they are anyway in the Honda NSX. We're going through the championship standings a little bit later on. They're here, of course. ART James here in the BMW M4. Good to see them back once again as well. And new attempt at trying to pronounce his name. Vitor. I think. I need to get the audio recording up again at some point. He's here anyway. Car 23 in that classic TRD style design. Looking quite good there. The Joe 2 guy, spoiler alert, winner of both races last time out at the Tokyo Expressway from round 4. They are currently our championship leader because of that. That Alfa Romeo looking quite good, but of course with the stock setups, I'm going to say that now before I forget later. Stock setups, the Alfa, very very twitchy as it is on a normal circuit. Be interesting to see how the bumps of the Nordschleife will affect it in terms of handling. Seem to be fine here as they went through Flugplatz. Crazy John is here as well, of course, for virtual life experience. Hello to Amuda in chat, saying he's going to leave a like. Thank you very much for that, Amuda. Of course, that helps with the exposure of the videos or something along those lines. Crazy John, nicely done through the Vidal chicane, I believe that layout is. It's either that or the NGK chicane. I'll probably just say the chicane going forward. Oh dear. Professionalism 100. Good to see Crazy John back. Roland Jupiter, Quinners, fan favourite. He's currently sitting in the pits at the moment. Arrows Racing Blue now going back to their white and blue colour schemes after their Itasha art liveries from the Japanese rounds. Golden Bear Motorsports Amuda is back once again. The silver with the gold rims, of course. Can't quite see it from this angle. We'll hopefully see them when they get out of the pits. Rotorius is here. I believe they are a brand new entry to the series. First Ford Mustang of the season, if I recall correctly. Car 797. Be interesting to see how the Mustang stacks up with the rest of them. Great livery as well. Oh, nice and sideways. Oh, and Amuda just hitting the wall, trying to emulate. Didn't quite go that way for him. Now he's just sort of doing whatever that is. I don't know. So at the minute we have 8 cars, all making their way around the circuit. Well, some of them anyway. Some choosing to just stay in the pits. Hello to Swablu. Nice having you here in chat. Couple of hands up there. Of course, this circuit, the most demanding in the world, extremely narrow. The best overtaking opportunity is going to be on either the straight or on the GP circuit, really, where it's a little bit wider. But there are some places on the actual North Loop that you can get some moves done. I'm thinking braking into Arenberg if you're very brave through Schwedenkreuz towards the, I believe, the first quarter of that section. There's a few braking zones. A lot of trail braking involved as well, combined with the elevation change. These guys will be glad to be having that anti-lock braking system in full effect. Unless some of them are crazy enough to run without it. We'll have to see how that goes. Of course, with the forest line roads, engine notes echoing throughout. Very similar effect to what we had at the Tokyo Expressway with some of the tunnels, really. With how close the trees are here. Really does allow the engine notes and the exhaust to reverberate. It's the Castro livery machine captured nicely here from our helicopter cam. Jack Wilkinson on the ground and in the air, it would seem. Vita making their way through this very fast flowing ladder stages of the lap. Fantastic to watch. Let's go on board with him, car 23, making their way through, going up and then plunging back down again. They're making their way towards the braking zone. Can get a bit airborne here, not too likely in these Group 4 cars. Indeed manages to keep the wheels on the ground. And then pretty much flat out as you make your way through here. You can really see the elevation change from this camera. Although in real life, of course, get a better representation in terms of being able to physically see it. Really is a challenging circuit as they make their way towards the mini carousel. Some marshals on the outside there. Good fan attendance as well. Next to nobody socially distancing though. No need for any of that in the virtual world. More marshals on the outside and onto the straight. This will be a very key spot, I reckon, throughout the race. Slipstream, of course, the around 7.5 tenths of a second will definitely come into effect around here. Should also be a section that favours the likes of the Toyotas with their decent top speeds as well. Hello to Crazy John in the chat, nice having you along here as well. Vito making their way through. Qualifying is essentially going to be a one-shot format with how long the lap is here. I think we're looking, I'm not 100% sure, maybe 9-minute laps-ish. Yeah, judging by this, maybe closer to 10 minutes, 9.5. We'll have to see. Only got a minute left until qualifying starts, so I don't think Wagon Ghost will be able to complete their lap. Oh, very shaky as they make their way over the mini carousel. And indeed, the qualifying session has begun. So we will take you through the championship standings shortly. Things are about to get underway here at the Nürburgring. Cars about to make their way out onto the circuit. First out is going to be Winners, Roland Jupiter, managing to exit quite quickly. You see the 15-minute timer just to ensure that everyone does indeed manage to complete a lap. Everyone just getting a feel for the cars on their outlaps at the moment. Oh, and that's someone who's crashed actually. I think that's James. What's happened to James there? He's stopped. Okay, he's just stopped. It looked like he may have made contact at one point, but no, that was my mistake. And now it is the Joe 2 guy who is leading these guys out. Crazy John and Retorius and Vitor have all made their way back to the pits as these guys are shuffling around. As we're actually going to get a reset rather. I probably need to reset my vocal cords as well while I'm at it. As Hagee unfortunately wasn't entered into the circuit, so we're now having a restart of that. We'll be getting underway again shortly. This does give us a decent opportunity to go through the championship standings. I'll quickly get that up for you. So, in terms of the drivers' standings, after his very dominant display last time out at the Tokyo Expressway, it is TSR Joe 2 guy who is on 90 points in the lead of the drivers' standings. Hagee close behind on 82 points. They're in second. Third place is Roland Jupiter, Hagee's teammate. They're on 71 points. VLX C John, or Crazy John as we know him as, he's on 56 points, closely followed by TSR Swablu, who unfortunately won't be here for the rest of the season, as I believe he's uninstalled GT Sport today to make some room for Assetto Corsa Competizione. So unfortunate for that, having limited space. Hopefully get to see him again on GT7, we'll have to see about that. ART James, they're in 6th in the championship, they're on 30 points. Vitor is on 26 points, they are in 7th. 8th place is only one, they're on 25 points. 23 points for ART Splurge in 9th. Wangan Ghost, 19 points, they're in 10th at the moment. They have a decent shot of making up some positions. We have Amuda, who is on 19 points also, so that duel continues. Joint 10th there, 19 points for them. 12th place, John Wandering, also unfortunately not here today. They're on 13 points. JND only on 1 point. Not quite sure their situation. Cars making their way out again. Winners again first on the road. So we have 9 entries here today. Hello to Wangan Ghost in chat, and hello to Papega in chat as well. Nice having you along as well. I'm running a bit low on this pineapple and orange juice already, but nevertheless, if anyone does want to have a product sponsored, Red Bull, get in contact. You heard nothing. Then I don't even know. I'm happy just promoting random stuff at the minute. Gets good practice for future things. Hello to Emilius in chat. Nice having you along as well. Of course, from Turn 1, the esports team and the league. Hopefully you will be enjoying the show. Although there's so much going off in chat, it's only saying there's 1 viewer. I need to quickly reset that, I think. Hold on. Oh, there we go. 7 viewers. Sponsor your product. You know what? I might as well. We can talk the price later, but I'll do it now. Emilia's hosting a GT 500 league. I believe there's still a few spaces left in that. So head over to GT Planet, search up Turn 1 GT 500 league, or something along those lines in GT Sport. You'll be able to find that. Cars making their way onto the North Loop. Nordschleife translated. Over to the Teams Championship now, while we wait for them to complete their outlaps. ARS Racing Blue, after, again, another very consistent performance last time out, they're on 153 points. They're in first place in the Teams Championship. Second place, Team Simpact Racing, though they are only down to one car now that Swablu has gone. It'll be difficult for Joe to keep their team's championship hopes alive, but we'll see how they do. We know never to underestimate Joe. Virtual Life Experience, they're on 56 points. They're in third place, close behind them actually. The Arrows Racing team, the main team, they're on 53 points, so only 3 points separating third from fourth in the team's championship at the moment, as Quinners makes their way through Schwendenkreuz and through Orenburg now, heading towards the Foxhole. In fifth place, Golden Bear Motorsports, that would be Amuda and John Wandering. They're on 33 points at the moment. They're in fifth. Lumi Motorsports in sixth place, they're on 26 points. Scuderia Spinala on 25 points, they're in seventh, so 1 point separating sixth from seventh. And R Sport on 7 points, they are in 8th. Reminder, it's 15 points for finishing first, 12 for second, 10 for third, 8, then 6, then 5, then 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. Top 10 score points. So everyone is going to score points here today, with 9 cars on circuit. Emilius, happy to, use my channel for something, I guess. I'm sure Hagee won't mind. Great camera work again by Jack Wilkinson. You ever think any of those marshals get tired of just standing around, waiting for the cars to take 10 minutes to get around a lap? You must have like chairs or something. Got a battle on circuit to watch actually, as James is being caught up by Joe Tugai, both on their outlaps. Hopefully neither of them pick up damage in the process. Indeed, James doing something probably quite smart of a move there to just let Joe go by. Pepega in chat saying King Quinners. He is indeed in the lead at the moment, though only in track position. Here we see Crazy John making their way through. They were in the chat earlier. See how the NSX handles the bumps. Hello to Taylor in chat. That would be G4 Rotary, also of the T1 GT500 series, and of course collaborators with us at Nukeshot with the Paradox Auto Works project. So good to have you here. Me asking the important questions, do the marshals have chairs? Indeed. And immediately agreeing with him there. Look, it's a long lap, alright? Let me leave it, okay? Hagee, here they are, the other of the ARS Racing Blue Toyotas. Another case very similar to what happened to Nukeshot Motorsport, actually in a Super Formula Series. I always forget which one. There was so many Super Formula Series back in the day, where the B team effectively outscored the main team. And again, that seems to be the case in the Teams Championship at the moment, with ARS Racing Blue in the lead with a comfy 8 points margin. I'd offered to buy them shares myself, Amelis, but, you know, I'm not exactly making any money here from these sponsor deals or plugs that I'm giving you, so... Again, we can talk after. See if we can set something up for the Marshals next race. Rotorius, let's see how they're doing on their first outing in ARS Touring Car Championship in Season 2. Well, some deep dish rims on that Mustang. That's quite a nice touch. In the Mustang, you'd associate muscle cars with not even the best of handling, being quite good on the straights. Seems to be quite stable though. Notice that the more modern Mustangs tend to be not that bad in the corners compared to some of their predecessors, so we'll have to see how they get on with that. Wangan goes in the Castrol NSX Go 71, they're in 7th at the moment. The Irish lad that lives in the United States, or probably the other way around. I forget these things. It's one or the other. I think it's they live in the US but they're born in Ireland. They're making their way through. Just look at the throttle application, they're just flat out. They're making their way through, plunging down the hill. Vitor making their way towards the mini carousel, running a bit wide into the gravel trap. Good thing this is just an outlap lap. Best to get your mistakes out of the way on your outlap as opposed to making them during either the qualifying lap or the race. Rotorius has actually picked up damage though. When did that happen? So they went into the wall. They must have been spat out by the mini carousel. Didn't like the taste of the livery or something, so it just spat him out. No seriousness, I think there was just a lack of grip there on the Mustang. They'll be making their way back to the pits. I don't think they're going to be able to set a lap now, so they'll probably be starting from the back of the grid. The first guys making their way through, we're going to go on board with Quinners. They make their way through the first section, bypassing the Mercedes Arena, of course, on this layout. Shout out to Scuderia Nukeshot, indeed. Oh, there was a wheel disconnect. Okay, we're hearing from Rotorius in chat. Okay. Oh, that's extremely unfortunate. 4 places for that to happen as well. The mini carousel, not the best. So they are unfortunately going to have to start from the back, it would seem. See how they do getting on from there. But Quinners making their way through the hairpin and up towards the Schumacher S. Using that curve on the outside just to give the car a bit of camber to lean into the corner. It's an effective strategy in Group 3, I know for that much. Braking at the 100-meter board, turning in nicely, keeping as much to the left as he can, get a better exit here. And the run down towards what I'm going to call the Vidal chicane. If someone can confirm it's the Vidal chicane with this layout and not the NGK chicane, then please let me know in chat. This being the highest speed variant, very fast through there. Also measured as well, now making their way onto the Nordschleife. Getting great fan attendance, you can see one of the campsites there on the right of screen. Pretty much packed out, plenty of cars and vans and all sorts parked up there as well. All having a good time despite the weather. Of course, track temperature won't be anywhere near ideal with this level of cloud cover. Now the run up towards Flugplatz. A very, very, very scary complex here. The rise, and then flat, 133 miles an hour through there. Then the run through Schwendenkreuz, leading towards Arenberg. Hello to Thick Quinners fan in chat. Nice seeing the Quinners lads out here again. Braking now for Arenberg. Massive gravel trap on the outside to catch cars that outbrake themselves under the Yokohama Bridge. Now down through the foxhole, named such because of how narrow the racing line is here, and of course the tree cover very encroaching on the track. You see a bit of fog as well has descended on this part of the circuit. Could obscure visibility. Nice and steady through that complex. Again, another campsite on the left. Very good facility. Would love to visit the Nürburgring at some point in my life. Who wouldn't? That's a motorsports fan. A bit more fog as they make their way down towards the next section. I'm familiar with a few corner names, not overly many though. It's quite a lot of corners. I think it's around 150-ish. No, I think on this lane it might be around 170. So, very, very complex. Time at 1:42 on the clock, so confirming it will be a one-shot over the bridge. Nicely done. And this section here, that is extremely difficult to get right. I crashed there more than anywhere else really on this circuit. Car gets very unsettled with the very steep slope. You can see how bumpy it is as well. Really trying to throw the car off the circuit with how bumpy it is. Luckily now for Quinn, as he gets a little bit of a break, as he can just stay flat out. Eight viewers currently in chat. Nice having you guys along. If you're enjoying the qualifying session so far and are looking forward to race 1 and race 2, then be sure to leave a like. Like that guy, the smart guy 106. You can be smart as well if you leave a like on the stream. You like that segue? More a fan of scooters myself. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. Another campsite here as they're making their way towards the carousel. Just at the top of here. Road swerves from left to right. And then of course using the concrete banking, originally used for drainage, until Rudolf Caracciola used that as his racing line, and the rest is history. Now through to what many of the drivers would probably say is their favourite part of the circuit, this downhill section. We've just reached the highest point of the circuit and now it's all downhill from here. Look at the kind of speed you can carry through this absolutely terrifying complex, and it just keeps on going. Really got to be careful with how much curb you take as well with these stock setups. Make sure you don't unsettle the car too much. Nice and forgiving curb on that occasion. Nice and flat, but most of the curbs of course around here very steep compared to normal, so normally if setups were allowed you'd be on the suspension not quite as low as normal. I believe the suspension tends to be fairly okay in terms of ride height when stock, so these guys not seeming to struggle overly much, but the track does throw up surprises. And then flat out again through here. Absolutely majestic, just like my chin. If my chin was a section of road, this would be it. Coming up towards the mini carousel this time around, avoiding the gravel. This is where Rotorius had their wheel disconnect. Perhaps some wires were shaken loose from the concrete. Conspiracy Theories 101 here with Nukeshot Zokeo. And now making their way onto the Dottinger Horse straight. Under the Audi Sport sign we go. 758.7. We'll see how that compares to some of the others. 758.7. James a little bit off that by a few seconds or so. As is Hagee. Hagee and James looking quite close at least. Joe 2 guy also looking a little bit further back. That is Crazy John. I think Vito could be on for a decent time here. We'll have to see. No, I think Quinners, judging by this, has a very decent shot of taking the pole position, judging by that one sector marker. We'll have to see how they do. They come across the line. It's an 8:49.253. What are we going to see from James? They're going to be the next across the line. They're already slower, but by how much? It's going to be a matter of seconds. 8:53.879 from James. Hagee running it close to the line. 8:54.523. That's slower than James by 0.6 of a second. Championship leader, the Joe 2 guy, of course carrying a fair bit of ballast from all his success. Only manages 4th fastest for now. 8:55.822. Crazy John, what can they do? 9:129. They was very cautious through that. In fact, no, they had damage at some point throughout the lap. That would cost them. Wangan Ghost 9:03.781. Vitor 8:54.327. That is enough for 3rd place for Vitor. And Amuda making their way across. 9:03.498. That is enough for 7th place. And of course Rotorius on an outlap, of course, after they had to go to the pits to repair damage. So that's going to be them in 9th. But it is Roland Jupiter Quinners who has taken pole position by 4.6 seconds. Very impressive stuff here. Especially considering how close some of the other guys were a bit further back. But alas, it is time for race 1. Bet that pole position is going to make all the Quinners fans in chat extremely happy. There he is. Car 94, Roland Jupiter on pole position, James in 2nd, Vitor 3rd, Hagee 4th, Joe 5th, CJ 6th, Amuda 7th, Wangan Ghost 8th, and in 9th place, CRN Rotorius. Without further ado, we're about to get race 1 of round 5 of the ARS Touring Car Championship Season 2 underway. Green, 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 and the cars are off. Seems like the Toyota is bogging off the line as we might have expected. Joe looking to the inside. It's James who takes the lead for now though. Joe managing to send it to the inside. Crazy John looking to make it 3 wide there with Hagee as well. And Amuda barging their way through there to 5th place. Oh, and there's contact between these guys, and that is Wangan Ghost in the back. They've had contact. Vitor and Rotorius side by side as they're making their way down towards the hairpin. Vitor having to drop back. Several cars probably with damage after that initial contact, that kerfuffle. 3 laps of course, but it is such a long lap. Still equates to that 30 minutes. James leads, not by much. Amuda still holding on to 5th for now. Just managed to pull ahead of Hagee with that extra torque from the BMW, but here we go. The Toyota looking quite strong again. Do they look to the insideline.com? They do indeed. A little bit of onion barges. Amuda off the circuit, sliding about. Driving on ice there from Amuda. and they seem to drop down to 7th and 8th now as they are passed by Vitor as well. James still holding on, and Joe knows he's got to make a pass going into here. It's his best chance before he gets onto the Nordschleife, otherwise he might lose a bit more time stuck behind, and he is indeed behind. Still, good start by them given their qualifying. Joe 2nd, James 1st, Quinn is 3rd after they bogged down a bit off the line. Crazy John in 4th, Hagee 5th, 6th place for Retorius at the minute, all over the back of him. Rito in 7th, 8th place for Amuda, and Wangan Ghost hasn't actually picked up damage. Okay. I'm going to do a quick damage check on everyone. So Crazy John has got damage, as has Vitor, and Amuda has picked up engine damage somewhere. I think that was recent. Indeed, they already had damage before this, but then what happened? Oh! The kart spat out as they went onto the grass. Picking up engine damage, that's going to be a very slow lap for them, picking that up so early on. And Wangan Ghost, although they seem to go very off the circuit, miraculously escaped any damage. As what on earth has happened there? I think that was James getting it completely wrong on the brakes going into Arenberg. We're going to have to see that one on a replay. Hold on. What happened here? Quinner's looking to go the outside. They're trying to go 3 wide through Schrendenkreuz nearly. James on the outside, trying to keep up, carrying a bit too much speed on the grass. Just clipped it. Whew. And that was a very close call with a collision with the Joe 2 guy. Just going to see if I can get an onboard of this, just to see how close it was between contact. Should see him on the left. There's a bit of a gap, but nevertheless very scary. So that puts the Joe 2 guy up into 1st place. Quinner's 2nd after they took pole position, so we know they have the pace by quite a lot as well. Race John in 3rd, they have damage though, we know that. And they've gone off the circuit, and Hagee has followed them off the circuit. That allows Retorius up into 3rd. They don't have a damaged car, as Crazy John is sliding all about like a fish. Or did Hagee pick up any damage from that collision with the barrier? No. Just light enough to get away with anything. Vitor, they're making their way up the order, despite the damage that they have. James in 7th. They don't have any damage, so they'll be looking to get past Vitor as soon as they can. As Quinners has actually made the pass. Quinners has made the pass. Joe looking to challenge again, but we're going to see how it happened here. Got to the insideline.com for everything ARS. And managed to get that to work. That's a very risky place to do it, but he managed to get it stopped. They're now making their way through the flat out section here. Best to keep the car as central as possible. Oh, contact between the two of them there. Onion barges shed between the two of them. Quinners manages to stay ahead. Exciting scenes making their way through. Who's going to be late on the brakes? Joe looking to the inside. I think he's just putting himself in the mirrors, trying to unsettle the Irishman. Hasn't worked yet. Now, it'll be interesting to see now that Quinners is up to speed, whether he can start pulling away from the rest of the pack again. He's messed up the carousel though. The Joe 2 guy starting to be harassed a bit by Retorius in the Ford Mustang. And in fact, looking to the outside nearly, that would have been pass of the century if that happened. 4th and 5th also very close as well. The damaged Crazy John trying to keep up with Hagee. through they go. And this dueling isn't really allowing any of these guys to escape. It'll be interesting to see how damaged cars handle this particular section, the downhill. As soon as I mention it, it seems that Quinners is getting a little bit of a gap as Joe shifts his attention to Retorius. Oh, a little bit of a lag spike. Hopefully that's on my end and not theirs. Staying together still. Retorius biding his time. And of course they were last after qualifying after their wheel issue. So all the way up to third already. Very strong showing from them on their debut. As James had a bit of a lag spike there, it seemed. A bit of sparks being thrown up. So James did manage to get past Vitor, and with their undamaged car, they're making their way through to catch up to these guys, which is interesting. James could be an outside bet for this. Nice to see, oh, very sideways going out of the mini carousel. Very nice to see. And crucially, Quinners has broken the 7.5 tenths slipstream gap to the Joe 2 guy. So Joe is going to have to rely on his engine power in order to catch up. We know the Toyota's very strong on the straights though, but the Alpha seemingly quite a bit stronger, even without the slipstream. Catching up. Seems to have leveled out a bit, has it? Yeah, just keeping out of range. As I think the Toyota's just about got into its stride and is indeed pulling away again. Hagee making a move on Retorius. They are up to third place. Getting that done on the straight. Oh, on the grass. Couldn't settle the car quite easily. Doesn't though, as they managed to get that stopped quite nicely. Here it was again then. Just getting the overlap. Better speed. Probably had a bit of slipstream to help out as well in that circumstance. After one lap, it is Quinners in the lead. As he qualified, it is Joe in second, and it's Hagee third. How much longer with Retorius looking to take that different line? Getting a bit of a better exit. Oh! Hagee actually ran a fair bit wide there, as did Crazy John. Retorius to the inside, they're registered ahead. They have the inside, and they have third place back. Good work there by Retorius. So Hagee down to fourth. Crazy John now having a fend off James. Remember, Crazy John still with damage. Front aero and front left suspension. Are they going to make it difficult for James, or are they just going to try and use James to try and catch the guys ahead? Be interesting to see. I think they're just going to slot in now just before the Schumacher S. Indeed. All over the back of them once again. Looking close. Now will James be able to get a bit of a gap in order to catch back up to the likes of Hagee? As Crazy John goes wide, and that's going to be into the wall. Yeah, there he goes. There goes Crazy John. Gonna have to see that as an onboard, I think. There's the telemetry with it. You can already tell the damage. And he just accelerated too much. Follow James. James went into the gravel slightly, so of course with the lesser aerodynamic capabilities, CJ was gonna follow him. Like it's Twitter. Speaking of which, Nukeshot does have a Twitter account. It isn't linked anywhere, but if I happen to find it, then by all means feel free to follow. Just thinking of segues in between topics. Joe's still second. That Alfa Romeo looking in decent condition. through Flugplatz. Coming up to Schwendenkreuz once again. And indeed, Emilius in chat, it is indeed the worst feeling when you crash at the Nordschleife just after you pass the pit entry, or when you've just anywhere really early on in the lap, or just crashing at all, but it's especially bad in those circumstances. Pretorius third still, Hagi charging him down. They have the slipstream, goes Hagi. We'll see what he makes of it here. Rear wing cam as they go through the foxhole. Gonna have to be careful. Is this an overtaking opportunity? Not really. He certainly thought about it though, nearly getting his bumper alongside. All about patience through here, taking optimal lines. A little bit wide from Pretorius, manages to gather it up. James also in the background there, you can see, lurking. Great camera work again. It isn't Jack Wilkinson on this. He's not sat on the back of Pretorius' roof. Although he could be. Who knows? Also just noticed that aerial thing that's shaking around. That's a good attention to detail. Picking up a bit of dust for Hagi to eat there. Literal dirty, yeah? That Toyota seems very, very stable going over those curbs. Really making good use of those. James in 5th. 9 seconds over Crazy John now. Crazy John has pretty much just backed off the pace for now. Wangan Ghost could be coming up to them. They are definitely gaining on Crazy John in the other Honda. So we could see the Castrol livery machine ahead of the Virtual Life Experience machine. That could be a bit down the line though. Vito in 8th. Still with their damage, so did they choose to stay out? Because that's rear damage. It's difficult to pick up rear damage if you're by yourself on circuit. Maybe they think by staying out they maximise their chance of someone else picking up damage and them taking some extra positions by doing so. We know for certain Amuda's made a pit stop, because they're up to speed again after their engine damage early on in the lap. They're in the very early stages of the North Loop. The other guys are coming up to the carousel at around the 3/4 mark. That's the kind of gap that there is. 3 minutes 33 seconds to the leader. Quinner's entering the carousel. Better job this time. Staying a bit slower on the power, keeping to the inside. The inner two wheels off the concrete in that instance. And Pretorius starting to get a bit of a gap over Hagi. They've broken the slipstream. Will probably be trying to chase down Joe up ahead. That'll be an interesting battle to watch. Reset stream again. Yep, everything's fine. We're only on 5 likes. Thank you guys for your support once again. Some great racing already in race 1. We're only halfway through it. No doubt more action in store later on, and of course with race 2 with a bit of a twist. More on that later. Here we see James. BMW seems quite stable as well. Because a lot of these manufacturers, especially the German ones, tend to develop their cars here at the Nordschleife. And of course, it makes sense. Most demanding racetrack in the world. Good testing ground. Broadcast is brought to you by Well, I can only assume it's Tesco's own brand pineapple and orange juice. Good quality stuff. Shout out to Tesco. Nicely done through the mini carousel. James 3.5 seconds back from Hagee in 4th. Crazy John still with their damage. The lead chose to stay on as well. In fact, I think they picked up a bit extra looking at that. They have right suspension damage as well. And there you see the gap between them and Wangengos. 3.3 seconds and dropping. Oh, there we go, camera's sorted out. Here we are on board with Wangengos, the Irish lad living in the United States. You can just about see the graphics above where Crazy John's car is. Might be able to make out a black and blue dot in the distance. On the straight, they're gaining tenths upon tenths. It's a very good opportunity for some good points here today for Wangengos. Mentioned that they're in a championship fight earlier on. I think Crazy John will choose to stay out again, just in case anyone else picks up damage. Although, is there really any point if they're not going to be able to hit? Actually, yes, in case someone gets engine damage and they slow down very drastically. We'll see. In fact, no, they're going into the pits. Perhaps acknowledging there could be a bit of a safety hazard, and therefore bailing. Here we see them changing tyres actually. That's a interesting call by them. No real tyre wear. Nevertheless, they're sent out again after they've done the repairs, and there goes Vitor up into 7th place. As they are sliding about. Slide McGee makes a return. Of course, Vitor hasn't repaired their damage that they had earlier, so they're staying out, and Crazy John with a fully repaired car. We'll have to see how that goes. As actually side-by-side action between Joe and Quinners. Just catching this now. Joe up ahead. I'm gonna see if we can just about catch this again. So, okay, so they had a bit of a run through the hairpin at the bottom of the circuit, side by side through the Schumi S. And then on the outside, Joe managed to stick with Quinners and outbrake him. Very sideways in the process, as Quinners looking to the outside. There's contact between the two of them! They've come together, the race leaders have come together. Here comes Retorius! Retorius is there! And now Retorius is up into the lead of the race. Hagee second, and an absolute carfuffle for the lead of the race. Let's see if we can catch this again. Maybe an onboard. Joe absolutely sending it as he got sideways. The back end collided with the back end of Quinners. It sent them both going a bit sideways. That's cost him. So in trying to get the lead, he's actually dropped another 2 positions. Here it is again. There was space if you count the curb, but it wasn't really on. Could be one for the stewards to look into. We'll have to see about that. We'll probably update you next time out. But now the battle for the lead is between Retorius and Hagee looking to go for heroics through Schwendenkreuz to the inside. Retorius backs out through Orenburg. They are about to come right on the limit. Hagee's going to run wide, surely, as they were very much to the inside. No, they managed to gather it up. Retorius gets a better run though, as they make their way through the foxhole for the final time of asking here in race 1. Who says you can't do racing on the Nordschleife? It's too narrow, they said. It's too bumpy, they said. Unbelievable scenes. Hagee up into the lead of the race once again. Oh! What on earth's happened there? Contact between the two of them. Hagee's on the grass. As that's Joe in the wall. What's happened to Joe? we're gonna have to see all of this again. Let's see what happened to Hagi first, from Quinner's perspective. Did he just run a bit wide? Yep, ran wide. There wasn't any contact really. Narrow escape there with a teammate. So it wasn't anything sinister in that case. And now the battle for the lead back to Retorius and Quinners. What happened to Joe? Did Joe follow them as well? The Alfa Romeo, we mentioned it, can be a bit unstable at times. Yep, all four wheels on the grass. Did good to keep it out the barrier, or did he? Yep, just about. Unbelievable scenes. Retorius up into the lead of the race after a costly mistake from ART Hagi. And in fact, wait, where's Joe? Joe's dropped down to 5th. So James has managed to get past Joe at some point. I'm not sure what happened there. It might have been another mistake from the Joe 2 guy. Side by side, they run. Flat out once again. Onion barges. One of our favourite snacks here on the channel. Haven't commonly enough. Racing room, all important. Quinners gets ahead into the lead of the race once again. They were our pole sitter. Two wheels on the grass from them, little bit of a lag spike. Retorius looking to the inside, just putting himself in the mirrors again. It's an absolutely epic duel here, for first and second. If they keep dueling like this, Hagi, who's in 3rd, has a definite shot of coming back into this. Again, a bit more conservative on the throttle. Two wheels on the inside, off the concrete. Retorius looking to the outside here! Surely not! Indeed, things better off that one. Oh, imagine the scenes. Just gotta keep the pressure on, I think. The psychological advantage. Looking now, once again, great camera work by drone operator Jack Wilkinson. Plunging down, spitting up grass and gravel as they make their way beyond the track limits marginally. Through they challenge once again. Airborne there for Quinners. Going on board here with the Ford Mustang. Remember, Retorius doesn't have any ballast from being so new into the championship. Quinners more than likely has. So all of his effort being concentrated into defense. Will it all be in vain though as they go up to the straight? We'll have to see. Nevertheless, Retorius looking to the outside, thinks better of it here. Extremely risky trying anything through that section. If you're enjoying this fantastic dueling, again be sure to leave a like. Consider subscribing to watch the rest of the season. Little bit of a gap developing as the Toyota stretches its legs, but the Ford Mustang closes up on the brakes, not seeming to be affected by dirty air that much. Through they go. Oh, I thought Retorius was going to go into the gravel. They lagged their way back onto the circuit. I think they are just going to wait for an opportunity on the straight. Hagi in 3rd, James 4th, Joe 5th, Wangan goes 6th, 7th there. As Crazy John is going quite slow there momentarily. We're going to see if the Mustang can catch up. Here we see the speedometer, 150 miles an hour, well into the slipstream. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough for a late braking challenge. He could get there. He might be able to get there. My phone has fallen off my leg. No! Here we go. 155 as they make their way through the Bilstein Bridge. Will the Ford Mustang be able to make a last attempt? I think he's going to think about it. He's looking. Oh! And the gap's there! It's going to be a run to the line! Who's going to get it? Who is going to get it? Is it Retorius? I think he's just ahead! Retorius takes it on the line! 1/10 of a second in it from Quinners. Valiant effort from Quinners. Couldn't quite hold on. Hagee takes third. James takes fourth. The Joe2 guy takes fifth after mistakes in the final lap. Wangangos will end up taking 6th place. Good result for them. They're about to make their way towards the start finish straight now. It looks like Vitor has managed to fend off the challenge from Crazy John despite carrying that damage they had earlier. Although no! They've crashed! They've crashed into that pit exit entry, rather. And I think they're just about gonna survive. They're weaving. Crazy John. They didn't pick up damage again, but they finished 8th. Must have made a mistake similar to Joe, just kept out the barrier. Keeping the car in good nick for race 2. And Amuda, unlikely to get to the checkered flag. They're going to finish in 9th. Be hoping for a bit more of a consistent start next time out. They will be starting from the front of the grid, remember, as we have a reverse grid start. So Retorius will be at the back and Amuda at the front. Hopefully Amuda will be able to have a bit of better time of it. We know he does tend to do quite well in race 2. It's been a common theme. What awesome dueling we've seen here today. Yeah, we're hearing it's a tactical thing from Crazy John in chat. He didn't pass Vitor deliberately because he gets a front row start, and indeed that is the case. Bit of tactics there from the Greek. On his debut, from the back of the grid after an appalling qualifying where he binned it, CRN Retorius. Fantastic result for them here in race 1. Round 5 of ARS Touring Car Championship Season 2. We're having a little bit of a break now, and we will be back with race 2 in not overly long. Don't know why I'm checking my settings. This will allow any of the drivers who were racing to comment in chat again. Amuda in chat, nice having you along. Asking for no damage this time, indeed. Crazy John predicting he'll have damage anyway at some point, so hope that's not the case for you, lad. What an epic duel on that last lap. Again, this broadcast is brought to you by Tesco orange and pineapple juice. Beverage of choice here today. Yes, it was very 2, 3, 4 wide in places early on. Good stuff. And now I'm out of juice. Hopefully the drivers aren't out of juice and are ready to get running for race 2. Twist coming up. We'll find out what that is shortly. It's actually going to be a night race. So combining what we've just seen with extremely limited visibility, which is essentially just from your headlights through the majority of the Nordschleife. A bit better visibility on the Grand Prix track, of course. But combining that with what we've just seen, it's going to be absolute carnage, and I can't wait. Be sure to stay tuned here on Nukeshot Media as we bring you all the action as it happens. Shut up, Chair, no one likes you. Actually, you're alright in my books, Chair. You've always been supporting me. Oh, what am I doing with my life? Here we go. It's the 2-lap race, of course. 20 minutes for race 2. Reverse grid. And it's going to be an absolute scramble as the guys further up the field come the end of race 1 will try and get towards the front again before the North Loop, when things start narrowing up again. So expect the Grand Prix section of the track at least to be very spicy. Hello, Jack Wilkinson. What are you doing in the pit lane? Some extra photography. Maybe trying to snipe a thumbnail here for the channel once this is all uploaded and done. Shout out to BMW M Power. BMW best machines worldwide. It's definitely the motto. Here we go, the Joe 2 guy. Here's the kind of visibility you can expect. Purely from the headlights. Look at this. Here's an onboard. Got some billboards. 2 cones on screen. Oh, 3. There we go, the sneaky cone in that corner. Jack Wilkinson has made his way out of the pit lane. There he is. It's like Where's Wally, but with Jack Wilkinson. Where's Jack? Vito in chat. Apologies if I've once again been butchering the pronunciation. Saying he had damage on all 3 laps. I figured that you just stayed out of the pits. It at least seemed that way. Just so, you know, you wouldn't lose time in that sense. Here again you can see the kind of visibility. Flash of the lights there from the Joe 2 guy. Always a good sport. Car 27. Jack Wilkinson is greater than Usain Bolt. Oh dear. Unbelievable scenes here today. Although of course it would have been great to have a co-host for this, I'm really enjoying this stream. It's been a while since I've really enjoyed a stream, I suppose. Been working on other projects and such. Stuff to do with the Sim Racing Federation. Shout out to them. Of course, got my Lego Robot Wars collection right here next to me, as well as many shelves. So that's another project. Yeah, it's all been good. Good to catch up with you guys once again. Because I certainly can't catch up if it comes to racing. Oh dear. Let's see another on board here. The crucial thing is, some of the areas of the campsites especially do tend to have a bit more lighting. When the more deserted areas of the track, the more remote sections, it really does just become you and your headlights. Especially if you haven't got anyone really to follow. Asking if everyone's ready. I believe everyone's on circuit. Joe being the only car actually onto the North Loop for practice. We'll be getting race 2 underway shortly. 2 laps, of course. Mentally no, he says in response of Higgy saying if they're ready from Pretorius. This is going to be definitely something. Joe making their way towards, well, through Schwendenkreuz and towards Arnberg. 2 corners of the handful that I know the name of, a little bit sideways. Now going onto the Yokohama Bridge, through the foxhole. Very claustrophobic in these conditions, more so than during the day. And here it's very difficult to see your apex because you're constantly switching directions and you can't really change where the headlights point except for changing where the car points. Hey, I said the name right this time. Fantastic, good to hear, Vito. I'll be back to calling you White or next race, don't worry. So, here we go then. Amuda, pole position, Crazy John alongside row 2, Vitor and Wangangos. Joe and James on row 3, Hagi and Quinners, ART Blue 4th row, they're 7th and 8th. And in 9th place, last race winner, CRM Rotorius. Race 2 about to get underway here at the Nürburgring. Green, 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 and the cars are off. Who's going to get a good launch? It seems like Amuda in the BMW has a very solid launch. They managed to hold on to pole position at least for now. Looking to the outside goes the Joe 2 guy. Of course, they're starting a bit further up the field since they finished a bit further down it last time. 3rd place for them at the moment. James in 4th. Vitor side by side with them. I think they're going to back out of that one. Yep. They're in 5th. Rotorius all the way up to 6th already. As Quinners ahead of Hagi still. So the Toyotas predictably bogging down off the line. So they managed to stay ahead of Wangan Ghost. Through the hairpin they go. Great seeing the camera work here as they go through the Schumacher S. Again, very crucial to make up positions quickly. And I wonder if Crazy John is going to try and set himself up for an overtake shortly. See if he can gain some ground on the rest of the field. Joe up to 3rd, remember. He's closely followed by James. And indeed, Crazy John looking to the outside. If he manages to stay there, it's going to be close. A little bit of contact between the two of them. To the inside. And Crazy John does indeed manage to get up a position. It's quite aggressive there. Well, he is crazy, so what do you expect? Oh, some cars hitting the barrier there. Some sparks being thrown. Sparks 360. All the cars a lot closer together this time around. In fact, all 9 of them, I believe, are still here together in the same pack. Yet to separate just yet. Crazy John starting to indeed get a bit of a gap. Just got to keep it out of the wall, Chief. Kicked up a bit of dust on exit. A bit more dust being kicked up. Amuda doing a very good job in 2nd. I did mention that they're quite good in race 2s. This seems to be the case. Rotorius all over the back of James. Through Flugplatz they go. Now will Rotorius try something going through Schwendenkreuz? We're about to see. Be extremely risky, but they will have a bit of a slipstream advantage. I think up the road as well. Seeing there's a little bit of some overtaking going off. As there you see 7th. Oh, James is off! James is off! James into the barrier. Oh no! And he nearly rejoins and kills Hagi in the process. Oof. That's a difficult one. He's going to drop down a couple positions. Here we see, let's see from this exterior view. Was there contact? Was he pushed or did he just jump? I think he turned in on Rotorius. Rotorius was enough alongside it seemed. But they just didn't see him. Then the contact shook up the suspension enough to drive him wide. That's the first car with damage. Vitor looking to make the overtake. Round the outside. Does he get it to stick? No. Not quite. Crazy John, 1.8 seconds over Joe. Joe makes his way past Amuda. Could be a crucial one to check out, as James I do believe has dropped back to 9th place now. Here we go, here's the overtake again. So Joe managed to get a beautiful cutback, gain the acceleration. That is a thing of beauty. And now he's got some clear air, and he's got a mad Greek up ahead of him, who no doubt he's going to be chasing down. Amuda now being challenged by Retorius, winner last race, and very nearly on the podium in this one. He's to the inside for the kink. It's going to be the outside here if he pulls this off. No, surely not. Surely not. Contact! And somehow they've avoided it all. Whew. Well, they didn't avoid each other, but side by side, Retorius and Quinners. So Quinners taking advantage of the slip up there from Retorius. Good opportunistic driving here from the Irish lad. It was that contact with Amuda giving them a poor exit on Quinners to make the overtake despite their lack of torque coming out the corner. And now Quinners looking to the outside. Very risky stuff, maybe braking to the corner before the carousel. In fact, no, Retorius is going to get them again. And Retorius is off. Retorius is off and into the wall. They've picked up damage from that. Let's quickly see this again. I think there may have been a smidge of contact, may have just been them being on the outside, difficult to pull off anything. Oh, contact in the carousel! Well, I've seen it all now. How do you send it on the carousel mid-apex? Well, we're about to find out. Here we see it again. So Amuda up ahead there. They get a little bit sideways. Quinners went a bit to the outside. Wasn't really carrying too much speed. And then a little bit of bumper cars. No damage to the 86 of Quinners. Retorius will be a bit frustrated though that they ran wide and picked up that damage earlier on. Looking to the outside, Quinners has... How has he done that? How has he done that then? As Joe is falling down the order. What's happened to Joe? Joe has picked up damage. Joe has picked up damage and is falling down the order. Hagee's about to overtake him. Retorius is already ahead of him. Joe has made a mistake. I'll see if I can pick that up somewhere. He's running wide. Oh, it's an absolute nightmare for him. Hagee looking to the outside. Joe still holding on. What happened here then? Oh, it must have been a bit earlier on. Apologies for not catching that. He may have clipped the grass or span it or something, and contact again between them and Hagee to make their way through. Very risky stuff from these guys. The battle for second is still on. Retorius up to third now, passing Quinners. Or holding him off. Oh, and Amuda's off. Amuda off into the gravel. Just running a bit wide. Vitor very nearly running into him. Don't think he was sighted. Crazy John with a 7.7 second lead. They're going onto the Dottingham Straight. Quinners having a hold off Retorius. Very familiar situation once again to the last race. Hello to Kane again. Nice having you in chat. Another Quinners fan, no doubt. We're going on board with your boy here in second place at the moment. Will the Mustang of Retorius be able to catch up? He's deeper in slipstream than he was last time out in race 1 on the last lap. We'll see how he gets on here. It seems to be a bit of a stalemate at the moment. Of course, Retorius does have the damage, so that's going to be affecting their straight line potential. Going through braking zone, oh, bit of a twitch. Quinners has gone off. Quinners has gone off. He's outbroke himself. Here it is again. Just missing his braking marker slightly. Maybe it was a bump in the circuit or something. The brakes were cooked into the wall. Avoided damage. That's the silver lining in that one. He's down to fourth. Joe into the pits to repair their damage, as is James. Oh, what happened to James? That whole side of the car and the front and rear arrows completely messed up. He's in just to repair, and he'll be out shortly. He's going to rejoin in 8th, I believe. Maybe 9th. Actually, no, Wangan Ghost is in as well, after colliding. Crazy John, 6.3 second lead. That's come down. That's come down by around a second, since Retorius has got up to 2nd. Hagee charging in 3rd at the moment. Gwynner's in 4th. Being closed down by Vitor and Amuda in the back as well. Flash of the lights there, I think, from the Brazilian. Both in equal machinery, of course, both using Toyota 86s. Different teams, though. Looking for the wider line. Perhaps just looking for the cleaner air for the aero. I wonder if we can get sponsored by Aero Mint. There's an idea. Hello, Emilius, welcome back. Of course, if you're enjoying the action, be sure to leave a like on stream. We're covering the rest of the season here of the ARS Touring Car Championship, Season 2. So, of course, you can subscribe with the notification bell on if you want to keep in touch with when the uploads happen. I believe we have a playlist. Might need to update the videos in said playlist of the Arrows Racing series, but be sure to check that out as well. We've covered Season 1, some of the races there, such as the Nukeshot race of California at Laguna Seca, as well as all of Season 2 up to now, round 5. Oh, great camera work again by Jack Wilkinson and his many drones, as I highly doubt he's standing on the circuit. 7 seconds the gap between 1st and 2nd now. Retorius making their way through Schwendenkreuz. Hagee very much close behind. Hello to D-Look in chat. Nice having you along as well. We're up to 10 viewers. That's how I know it's a good stream. Of course, the Nürburgring never disappoints. 2nd and 3rd still close together. Hagee's gained a fair bit in the braking zone. Have they overcooked it like their teammate? No, they keep it on. Gwynner's in 4th. They seem to have got a little bit more of a gap over Vitor. 6th place Amuda. Good points for them at this stage. Joe will be closing them down. Haven't got any damage. Of course, came into the pits, as did James and Wangan Ghost. Just 2 laps here for race 2. We actually did a race in the rain at the Nürburgring once. It was an open lobby in GT Sport. It was back when the rain was first introduced at Spa, and it was a glitch that you could do to make any circuit have a wet surface, so that was good fun. Up to 11 viewers it says there, temporarily. The duel for 2nd definitely on Hagee, really confident with the car, it seems. Of course, the damage Retorius has playing its part in that. I think we're going to go on board with Hagee here. Oh, is that a new helmet? Nice spot, I don't recall seeing that before. If it is, or if it isn't, nice work on that one, Hagee. Oh, just clipping the gravel on exit. Just give you a bit of dust. All about consistency for Crazy John up in the lead of the race. But with these two, every championship point counts. And with Joe all the way down in 7th, Hagee is nearest challenger in the championship. You got to think he's going to want to maximise this. It'll be difficult with Retorius having no ballast, being new to the series. There's the moon. There's the castle. In the slipstream, the Toyota goes. Looking to the outside. Do they manage to get that to stick? I think they have the overrun, and indeed Hagi goes up into second place. It'll be difficult for Retorius to come back from that, as they have the damage. We'll see though. Really throwing the cars in through here. Slowing all the way down to around 53 or 54 miles an hour. Now making their way towards the carousel. Who's that in the back? That is Quinners in fourth place, so they're actually gaining on this group. They might be able to snag third place if Hagi starts slowing Retorius' pace down a little bit. We'll see how that goes. Of course, difficult to follow. Retorius, oh! Thought they were going to try something to the inside there. Thought better of it in the end. Here is Quinners. Once again. Retorius is not Rotato's older brother, as far as I know. They're cousins. They're not actually cousins, but still. Fifth place, Amuda. So Vitor must have made a mistake. Indeed, they have done. They picked up damage. So Vitor's mistake. Amuda up into the top 5. Great points then for Golden Bear Motorsport. They could lose another position to the repaired Joe 2 guy in 7th place. Still charging. Charging like an iPhone. James not taking the banking there of the carousel, perhaps thinking it's a bit too risky. And Wangan Ghost unfortunately a bit further down the order at the moment. Hagi has managed to get a bit of a gap over Retorius now, up to 2 seconds as they plunge their way through the latter sections of the lap. Retorius really in a battle for survival now for that final podium position. I think it could come down to the straight. I think Quinners might be able to get it because the damage will slow them down. They'll bring them into the slipstream range. And again, we don't know if Quinners knows if they have damage. Of course, you gain that kind of advantage if you tune into the stream. Benefits both ways. I get the viewers, they get the technical info on their opponents. Through they go then. Crazy John, well onto the Dottingham straight now. It's looking like a very, very solid result for them. Deliberately not passing Vitor to get that first row start. And it seems to have definitely paid off. Flash of the lights there from Hagi in second place. That looks pretty secure at the moment. Retorius being closed down. I think Joe has managed to pass Amuda meanwhile. Amuda's made a mistake somewhere. They're down to 7th. I'll see if I can catch up on that shortly. Retorius is going to be demoted down to 4th as they go under the Bilstein Bridge. That's got to be cruel for them. Finishing off the podium. Of course, Quinners lost out last time. It is their turn to get the podium this time around, but it is Crazy John taking the win here. Race 2. He's got to be pleased with that. Race 2 of round 5 of the ARS Touring Car Championship Season 2. Hagi takes a very strong 2nd place. 3rd place for Quinners. Great results for the Teams Championship for ART Blue. Retorius 4th in the end. Vitor will come home in 5th. The Joe 2 guy 6th. Amuda 7th. James 8th. Wangan Ghost in 9th. Now what happened to Amuda? Did they pick up damage? Here they were being chased down. Vitor got ahead of them again already at this stage. And then just on the straight it seemed Joe managed to get the run on them again, so they must have made a mistake at some point, you'd think, for them to go from 5th to 7th so quickly. Here comes James. Again, struggled with damage. Look at that, everything except engine damage for them. They're going to come home in 9th place. I think Wangan Ghost might just miss out based on the timing, with the time remaining there. What racing we've seen here today at the Nürburgring. Great stuff. Oh, it was at the final corner, was it? That Amuda. You mean the final corner of the whole lap, or the one going onto the long straight? because on my screen you was already 7th at the beginning of the straight there when he overtook, but... Oh, okay. It's good having the drivers in chat, being able to tell us the goings on. So victory here for Crazy John. Fastest lap, clean race, bonus as well. Very solid effort from them, they've got to be pleased with that. Whew. I better save the replay again, I forgot to do that last time. Thumbnail material. Here it is again, the race 2 results. 8.1 seconds between Crazy John and Hagee in the end. Quinner's 3rd, making it an ART Blue 2-3. Retorius 4th place, winner of race 1 of course. Vitor 5th place, good result for them. Joe 2 Guy 6th, would have been hoping for a bit better, especially given the last race, so that could actually put Hagee back up into the lead of the championship. Someone's going to have to crunch the numbers on that one, but that's going to leave things really exciting going into round 6. Amuda 7th place, could have been so much more. 5th was on the cards, just missing out there in the last portions of the race. James 8th place, suffered with damage again, unfortunate for them. Had a bit of a better race 1 at least to make up with that, and Wangan Ghost 9th place for them. Everyone's saying, well, Emilius at least saying, congrats Joe in chat. For one of the few times that Joe hasn't won a race in a round. Of course, we know how experienced he is. That was definitely an experience in itself. A virtual life experience, if you will, but I'll be here all week. Probably, I don't know. Depends. I will be ending the stream shortly. If you guys have enjoyed again, be sure to stay tuned for the rest of the season of the ARS Touring Car Championship. Season 2, Round 6 is going to be taking place at the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit on the 11th of September, so 1 week's time. Hope to see you guys there. Be sure to leave a like on stream again if you haven't already, if you've enjoyed this. If not, feel free to leave a dislike, but also be sure to leave a comment so I can hopefully improve in the future. That's all part of constructive criticism and all of that. So, from all of us here at Nukeshot Media, Jack Wilkinson, myself, Nukeshot Zokeo, my now empty glass of pineapple and orange juice, #ad, it's goodbye from us, and see you next time out at Brands Hatch. Until then, it's goodbye.